St. Thomas and St. John and St. Dry. Nothing can come between us but the waters that divide, yeah. Even though we're just a few square miles, I travel around the world with Virgin Island pride, yeah. A lot of people still going through strife, and still we live a joyful life. That's why the place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice, so nice. St. Cry full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice. We got so much to lose, yet so much to prove. Hey. Virgin Island teachers never raise no fool. Mama sent me school. Hey. When it's difficult.
First up, 24-hour gas and grocery store. Your number one convenience store. Located across from Vitraco Park. You name it, and they have it. From electronic accessories to your favorite drinks. And from gas to groceries. You name it, and they have it. First stop, 24-hour gas and grocery. Located across from Vitraco Park. Check it out. Your favorite store for gas and grocery. It's catch of the day. From the water to the pot to your mouth, everything is fresh at Catch of the Day, located on Cookie Point Beach. Enjoy some of your favorite seafood dishes, fresh catch, lobster, tongue, and whelks, when in season, as well as surf and turf. They cater to your wishes. While you sit and wait for your food, enjoy the friendly bar and bask in the ambience that is second to none. Enjoy the white sand, sun, and crystal blue water. We are sure the experience will be unique. Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and enjoy Catch of the Day on Cookie Point Beach.
Oh, yeah. Virgin Islands nice, so nice. Sure. I'm so proud to be from the VI, a place of history like the African side, yeah. St. Thomas and St. John and St. Dry. Nothing can come between us but the waters that divide, yeah. Even though we're just a few square miles, I travel around the world with Virgin Island pride.
Shake it up, stop when the clock hits 13. You've been working, but you're flirting with the weekend. You can freak out. 1 in a million. You're a gem, shine when the light grows dim. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. We got the right stuff. We put the hammer right down. Wanna be like us? You better stick around. If you want it, you gotta prove it. Like we do it.
Oh, yeah. Virgin Islands nice, so nice. Sure. I'm so proud to be from the VI, a place of history like the African side, yeah. St. Thomas and St. John and St. Dry. Nothing can come between us but the waters that divide, yeah. Even though we're just a few square miles, I travel around the world with Virgin Island pride, yeah. A lot of people still going through strife, and still we live a joyful life. That's why the place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice, so nice. St. Cry full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice.
Okay. Well, I apologize. I'm sure they can hear me now. But and that's all good for communication, right? Yeah. So the vaccinations and the boosters, folks, that's a matter of choice. And I have always said and insisted that it's a matter of choice. But you know, with all the looming cases, and interesting enough, persons who were vaccinated still getting COVID-19, and it's just leaving a lot of people confused and a lot of people perplexed, especially those who were adamantly against it. Now we're saying that if I had taken it and I could still get COVID, what sense it make to take it? But again, I'm going to regurgitate or repeat what I said, that it can, in fact, lessen the impact on the body. Now, antibodies and what the injection consists of, I would like to engage the professionals in a respective field that would be the ones to be able to elaborate on these things, and not profess to be a professional myself, because I'm not. But certainly I can publicly say that I was vaccinated. I haven't received my first boosters yet, but I'm considering it. But I'm just waiting to hear some of the other reports that are coming out, especially coming from qualified sources like the CDC, to an FDA, to determine exactly what the impact would be, and whether or not they have endorsed some of these new medication, some of these new boosters that are coming out. And moving along, you know, I got in a little bit of trouble this weekend because I decided to drive around into the different communities to see the level of the scars that still exist from Hurricanes Irma and Maria, because it appears that a lot of people, the government have shifted its focus to dealing with this COVID and the COVID crisis, and have basically neglected the area of home ownership. Because I drove around Hidden Valley, I drove around Old Tutu, New Tutu, I went all the way Bordeaux, Cowan Terrace, Bovoni, and drove all over, and there was something that was obvious to me. There's so many blue tarpaulins that are still out there. And we're talking about going in on another hurricane season coming up. I mean, it's 3-4 months away. I think hurricane season starts June 1st. But to think that you have so many residents that are going to be confronted with yet another hurricane season, with compromised structures, homes that are not really fully stable and prepared to even withstand a tropical storm, much less a hurricane. God forbid that any hurricanes hit this year. So we must pray that no hurricanes hit the territory this year. And you know, while I'm talking about home repairs, let's talk about all the money, because this morning is going to be open discussion. And this morning, the purpose of open discussion is to allow for people to call in and express their concerns about any particular topic. And I'm going to open up the line shortly, but I just want to exhaust some of the stuff that I wanted in the updates that I wanted to share with you this morning. You know, the territory is receiving so much funding, and I was elated to learn this morning via the VI Consortium that the territory is going to receive over $219 million for the repair, reconstruction of the Arthur E. Richards School on St. Croix. And while that is dollars coming into the territory, the question that I often ask, because this has a lot to do with city management, if we have 209, and I apologize, 209 million that is supposed to be earmarked for the construction of a new school, and thanks to the delegate to Congress and her efforts in trying to secure or securing those funds falling along the line of entitlement for us here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But we want to see action. And you know, while I was talking about the home repairs, and residents, you know what I'm talking about. There's many of you out there that may have filed an application from years ago We're talking about from 2017. We're now in 2022 and going to be confronted with another hurricane season. And you just have to wonder, where is the compassion? Where is the sensitivity? Where is that sensibility? Where is that dedication to getting this moving? Because it seems as though the primary focus is elsewhere. And we can't be whole if Virgin Islanders, a lot of homeowners, are still out there living under blue tops. And we chant or we tout about all these millions of dollars. So this weekend I got in a little bit of trouble because, I always make my candid remarks known, not for myself, but for Virgin Islanders who truly are not the type to be speaking out publicly for two reasons. They don't want to be chastised, and they certainly don't want to become victims for speaking out. So they don't speak out, and they hope for the system to operate on its own and on its own time. And that is becoming extremely dangerous because you're compromising a lot of Virgin Islanders who are living in these homes. And going into another hurricane season, there has to be some level of compassion. There has to be some level of sensitivity. So this weekend, I turned around and I went out, drove all these places because I truly wanted to see what existed out there. And I didn't want to go based on what anyone tells me. I always try to go based on facts and provides facts to the public in terms of what I see. And to be honest with you, I was totally astonished to see so many homes just totally destroyed. So many homes that don't even have tops on them. The structure is just there. So do you realize that that's a family that has become homeless? Because they're either living with someone else, they were forced to rent an apartment in someone's home, but certainly their home remained there, unattended to, destroyed, and no assistance on their rising. And I know that we spoke years ago. I believe it was in 2019. We had a conversation here on the station with the Envision Tomorrow program under the Virgin Islands Public Finance Authority. And they spoke of so much promise. But what is the success rate? I mean, what percentage of Virgin Islanders have been able to receive any level of assistance? Because I still hear people today are complaining about, they went into another phase of their application, an inspection took place, but the inspection took place months ago, to then learn that there's a different company that is going to serve as the administrators of that program. So the question you ask again, what is the strategic plan? Because if you recall back then, I said that Envision Tomorrow, what happens tomorrow? So when today come, it's tomorrow again. So I guess they changed that name and they have embraced a different name. I'm not sure what the different name is now. I don't have the details on the specific company, but I'm sure that there's Virgin Islanders, many of you out there that are living the experience of not having adequate accommodations, and that your home, it's just in total ruins, or a blue tarpaulin is on the roof. So this past weekend I went out and I put a video together, and I made some remarks in that video because sometimes it take actually prodding or inciting, well, how should I put it? It takes sometimes encouraging an administration in a different way. Because if you don't point these things out and continue to trumpet or launch that cry, sometimes it go just totally ignored, neglected to the point where the same residents who need this help are going to be going into another hurricane season. And for me, it was traumatizing enough for a lot of residents We're probably still dealing with PTSD. But for a lot of residents who was confronted, not with the one, two hurricanes, Irma and Maria, I don't need to express this to many of you because you've lived the experience. And it's about time. Many of you homeowners, and I know many of you can hear me, you're still undergoing or experiencing a lack of attention. Your plight has not been fully addressed yet. And we can't be whole unless we're able to address these myriad of issues. So I'm going to share just some of my comments I made on the weekend relative to that issue.
4 years ago, in 2017, Hurricanes Irma and Maria devastated the Virgin Islands. 4 years later, in 2022, we still see a wave of blue roofs around the islands. The Virgin Islands continue to experience a lack of progress. Thousands of Virgin Islanders are still in dire need and desperate for assistance. How can anyone tout progress with the current needs of homeowners not met? Many who suffered from the wrath of hurricanes. Sadly, every day we witness the many scars of the infamous hurricanes. And ultimately, many Virgin Islanders feel there is no glimmer of hope. Our infrastructure's redevelopment and development are subject to compromise because of the lack of good leadership, which lacks the compassion, sensitivity, and sensibility needed to address this community's needs. Where is the service above self? Where is the dedication to all Virgin Islanders and not a select few? Where is the fair distribution of adequate services? Where is the commitment to genuinely improve the quality of life for all Virgin Islanders? Today, many Virgin Islanders remain in a state of frustration due to so many unanswered questions. We must harness promise, the hope to provide our homeowners with the tangibles. Home repairs must be a priority.
So folks, that was the comments that I made over the weekend that got me in a little bit of trouble. But you see, I believe in telling the truth. I believe in calling a spade a spade. I believe in sharing with the public what I personally saw, what I personally witnessed, in engaging even a family that I wish not to disclose who they are, that are so frustrated that two of the family members had to relocate to the States and are homeless in the States because they had to go live with someone else. I mean, it doesn't take me mentioning or speaking about this issue. It is there in plain view. You see what the priorities are. You see it every day. And along the political lines, because I'm going to hear and I'm going to get the kickback and the pushback and perhaps even the criticism for speaking out. I understand. I understand clearly what's going on. And with all the millions of dollars that they say that the territory is receiving, I don't see that high level of distribution. When in fact, when we talk about matrix, and when I speak about matrix, I'm talking about turning all the threats into opportunities. Opportunities for young men that could be out there working and helping to even rehabilitate a lot of these homes out there. And of course, providing them with the adequate training and special skills to be able to do that, with clear supervision coming from those who are certified, experienced, and have the skills to do it. There's a lot of money to go around for everyone. That's what I talk about, fair dispensation. Fair dispensation of the resources that we have. But to see so many homeowners still living under these blue tops is disheartening. And if that is going to bring me much criticism, so be it. What can we expect for the Virgin Islands? And I say this repeatedly, and I say this often. There's a lot to be done. Look at our infrastructure, folks. And this morning, we're having an open discussion. We can talk about any issue. The new refinery that they have on St. Croix. One time you heard that it was one group that had it, which was a group of Crucians. And then the next thing you know, there's a new group of owners that hail all the way from Jamaica and other places. What can we expect? How is our economy really doing? What about income tax refunds? I'm happy to hear that they're claiming that income tax refunds are going to be paid up. But we need to get to a point where when you file your income taxes or your return on April 15th, in record time, you could receive your check in 2 weeks. That, I believe, would be promise for a lot of Virgin Islanders who are owed an income tax refund. Because the system was shaped for that purpose. The system was shaped to, in fact, fulfill a responsibility to you as a taxpayer who have overpaid to get your money back on time, in record time, like it used to be, that you filed your tax 1 week and you got it, or you receive your refund within 3 weeks. Do you know that a lot of Virgin Islanders file their income tax refunds stateside, their returns stateside, and receive a refund in record time? And of course, the Virgin Islands government is required to reimburse that state, as they would send. They say it's illegal, but I don't think it's stopping anyone, because it's illegal to withhold a person refund, and for so long. So let's reshape that system. What about road repairs? Many of you know what I'm talking about. I was over in Grove Place, St. Croix, and a couple of places like Catherine Rest, and welcome just to see the conditions of the road. Those roads was just alarming. And it puts a wear and tear on your vehicle and ultimately end up costing residents much money. If you ain't getting a flat, your CV joints, your front end of your car is not working properly, the alignment is off. Yes, folks, roads do this damage to you, bad roads. What about home repairs again? I want to hear this program has been launched and that they are extremely ambitious to address the needs of so many Virgin Islanders that live with roofs that have blue tops or homes that was just totally destroyed and they're not seeing any daylight. We need to put things on a fast track. What about our hospitals? What about a lot of the schools? Every time I pass E. Benjamin Oliver School and I look at it, E. Benjamin Oliver School, a school that was full with so much promise. There's many of you who attended that school as students. And I'm happy to say that during a period, I served as the PTA, president of the Parent Teachers Association. And I know what that school was producing, from a music program to even on the side of full academics. To see the school and the legacy of E. Benjamin Oliver. That's what it has come to. What about school repairs, construction of 1 or 2 new schools? Are Virgin Islanders being displaced? Because every day we see these super contractors coming in, and we're hopeful that they employ at least a significant percentage of locals. But I'm not sure some of these positions are being advertised. Yes, we see some Virgin Islanders, but at what ratio? And last but not least, what's the plan? We need to know what's the plan. You know, I when we talk about schools, years ago as a senator, I had proposed teaching our young people the basic principles of money management. Why? Because I felt that we needed to start training our young that when they become young adults, that they're prepared to be entrepreneurs as an option and not just laborers, meaning working for someone else, that they recognize and they're groomed to be entrepreneurs, to be their own business owners as well. What did that economic literacy program consist of? And when I talk about teaching kids the basic principles of money management, at the 4th and 5th grade levels, we should be teaching our young people about going back to bartering, what it meant about bartering, trading commodities, and where we are today, that they understand going through from savings, being able to go into a bank at that relatively young age, open a savings account, and be able to manage their own savings account. But the economic literacy program would graduate them to a level that they even understand the responsibility of every individual to pay taxes once gainfully employed. So it would teach them about state taxes, that when they get to that next level, high school, we're teaching them about stocks and bonds, trading. Look at what a lot of the young people are navigating to today. Cryptocurrency. And I'm talking about college students and others are looking at cryptocurrency. We talk about Bitcoin. But do we start grooming them at the primary levels? And I think that, and not that I think, it's law, that the Department of Education shall establish an economic literacy program for young people in grades 5, 4th grade, and 5th grade. Here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, we would have been so much farther ahead of a lot of the other states. It's not too late. That's something that we can put in place. We can talk about a lot of stuff here this morning, environmental issues. You know, when we talk about the new refinery opening, I'm wondering whether or not there's a mitigation plan in place to clean up the aquifer. Did we as a government approach the federal government and maybe tap into the Brownfield Fund or any other fund to get a grant for the Virgin Islands to really clean up the aquifer and to establish and make sure that the department have the appropriate apparatuses to monitor the air quality? Why do I say this morning? Because I am the author of the Air and Water Pollution Acts. Yes, I drafted them, so I know what the content is. But you see, there's an old saying, what starts bad ends bad. We all want to be pro-business, but we have to know how to coexist. We have to know what to put in place to create that balance. It can't always be economics over health. There should be a balance. Everyone understands that. Because even those folks that are investing in these type of polluting industries, I'm sure they don't want to be impacted in the most adverse way or negatively. So I think it's really important that we start to engage all the stakeholders to determine what we can do to make sure that it's a safe and clean environment for all. We're talking about the workers, those who are employed. We're talking about the adjacent properties in proximity. But that goes a far way. The aquifer, you're talking about agriculture. We don't know how much of the water table could potentially or could be contaminated. And farmers having to farm, if they're going to use well water and other spring waters that may be in the area, they may not know what it contains. And if they're growing crops, different vegetables to sell to local supermarkets, you don't know what those vegetables are containing. But it's not to alarm anyone, but it's just to say that let's do things the right way. Let's engage the stakeholders, and let's try to understand or encourage safety standards that just seek ultimately to protect Virgin Islanders and even the workers in the refinery. There's much to talk about, as I indicated. You know, healthcare in the Virgin Islands, and I know many of you still are probably going out and seeking medical services in other places, healthcare services. I'm looking forward to the day that we really start to elevate the quality of care, because we have good doctors here in the Virgin Islands. We have good healthcare providers. And I had a person call me, I think it was 2 weeks ago, to tell me the first case. It was actually Daryl Lewis, who went to the hospital to get his booster shot. And he could not stop praising the personnel in the hospital about the quality service that he was provided, the care that he was provided, the attention and the sensitivity that was exhibited by that personnel. Those are the encouraging things I'm sure every Virgin Islander like to hear. Because you see, with that type or those type of attitudes, what it does is it makes a lot of the locals feel comfortable in seeking care right here at home. So it's a good start. Hopeful that the facility can receive all the resources that they truly need to uplift things, to uplift quality care. Because all of that adds to the quality of life. All of that adds to the cost of living. Because if a person has to relocate, they have insurance, and the insurance could be applied here. But they want to go to the States for special care or a specialized care. They have to pay for hotel unless they have a family member that they can stay with. They have to pay for transportation, they have to pay for food, and they have to pay for air travel. But it's a lot willing to pay the price to ensure quality care, to make sure that they get the quality care that is encouraging to them. So we have so much that we can talk about. The number to call here at WST is 340-774-1340, I know I missed a couple calls because I was here for a few minutes on my soapbox. But it was only with the intention of trying to get some updates in. And as you notice at the initial part of the program, I didn't mention any condolences. The newspaper, I was so happy to see that the newspaper didn't have any under the obituary. I didn't see any names because the obituary actually, I didn't see it in the paper this morning. Maybe I overlooked it, but it's always good to know. You know, they said the older you get, the more people you know in the paper that passed, the more people you know. But it's always good to know that we are seeing some kind of, or getting some kind of reprieve from that type of stuff. Because let me tell you, this COVID-19 hasn't been kind to the world. And I'm not sure what the number of deaths are or the death toll is in the Virgin Islands, but it seems like the BVI and the USVI is almost running neck and neck. But it's all the precautionary measures and all the different restrictions and the policies and the procedures that are in place, and those numbers are still racking up, which means could only mean that many Virgin Islanders are still going out, not practicing all the safety measures, and feel comfortable because, you know, we sometimes we think we're immune, and because we have not actually been confronted and lived the experience in being exposed to something like that, we tend to believe it can't happen to me. But be careful in saying it can't happen to me. It could happen to anyone. Just think about it for a second. If you can catch a common flu or a cold, that tells you and clearly tells you that you can get COVID-19 as well. So don't think for a second that you're immune. So don't let your guards down. Continue to practice those safety measures that not only seeks to protect yourself, but seeks to protect others. Because I'm telling you, this thing has been very violent and violent to Virgin Islanders. And you know, I can tell you, people already have so much to deal with. And when I say so much to deal with, to think that you're dealing with COVID-19, you're dealing with post-hurricanes, Irma and Maria. And you know, when they come with this nonsense about all these stringent measures, why people can't get assistance for their home, they have to submit all this documentation, they have to go through an evaluation period, they have to go through an inspection. I'm quickly reminded, if you were to make a comparison with the state of Louisiana, for example. I mean, the aid and the resources that was given to the residents of Louisiana had allowed them, even with these lump sums amount of assistance that they were receiving, they were even going out and buying cars and not necessarily rebuilding their homes. But we can't get folks here at a decent pace to get assistance. Let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you're on the air, connect the dots.
Good morning, Senator Dennis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Senator Dennis, you're talking about the exposure with the COVID again, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that. Like I mentioned before, there's a protocol.
Yeah.
A procedure that could have been followed. Since when you first heard me talk about it, whether it had to be with workers, senators being exposed, presidents, or whoever being exposed, the protocol could have helped to limit the exposure. But then again, I don't know who in the government, in authority, really want to know about it, because if we're supposed to be in the battle of war against this thing, why is it only one group, the CDC, and others who could, give protocols or advice, and everybody else, have to, step aside or stay aside, and whatever they could contribute to the matter can be. But through natural medicine or otherwise, those things probably don't matter, but still, it's something that would be effective. There's something called knowledge, yeah? And if you don't know, you can't say. I could only tell you about what I see, what I hear, what I know, what I feel, whatever. Knowledge. I know something, I could tell you about it, and you will see if you test it for yourself, prove it for yourself is the truth. See? So with that, Senator, I got to go, and I hope you digest or understand, and the audience understand what I try to say. Okay?
I'm sure they
Thank you.
understood everything that you said. It came through loud and clear.
God bless.
God bless you too. Thanks for calling. Yeah, everyone has their own unique concerns, and of course, everyone uh, have been able to observe and arrive their own conclusions in the observations. We have so much work here to do. There's so much issues to be addressed. And when we sit down and we look and we evaluate the landscape, and I'm talking, when I say the landscape, the infrastructure of the Virgin Islands, you have to ask yourself the question from 2017, unless give or take 8 months. 2017, let's say 2018, April, May, June, many of these same residents went through the painful experience of a hurricane season, rainy weather, where all the stuff in their homes are being exposed and just living a horrible experience. Let's talk about those even who submitted applications from over 2-3 years ago and still waiting for some type of assistance for them, for their homes to be repaired. What about them? Again, folks, the number to call here at WSTA is 340-774-1340. Live here at WSTA. This is Adela Fonsidana with you again this morning. Connect the dots. And we are just having an open discussion here and allowing folks to call in and express any particular, or speak about any particular topic. Bring up any subject you want to bring up about what's going on here in the community. And I would even open up the doors. I mean, if you want to talk about positive things, share something positive or share some positive things with us. Because you see, I think that... Good morning, you're on the air, connect the dots.
Hi, good morning, sir. I got a question. Maybe you could help me out.
Sure.
Filling the dots. Okay. It pertaining to the casino machines, slot machines.
Yeah.
Okay. The Casino Commission is the only one that regulates casino machines around here, right?
Not.
From your understanding?
Yeah, not quite, because I know that the VLTs fell under a separate and apart agreement. That was an authorization given to a company named Southland Gaming to be able to operate video lottery terminals in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, the Casino Commission was created to oversee the casinos that would be constructed on the island of St. Croix within that district. And that's the way I understand the law. So you can go ahead. I know there's a point you want to get across.
You mentioned VLT. Okay, you had a case last year, or ongoing more or less somewhat to an extent, that the courts, what did the court determine VLT or casino slot machines? From my understanding, I think it came up that the two of them, it's the same thing. You know, VLT is slot machines. That's your understanding of that, or you ain't familiar?
Yes. What it was, I believe, and anyone can call in and correct me if they feel that I have misplaced or misrepresented anything. Southland Gaming, when an agreement was approved by the MAP Potter administration, which was VIGL. VIGL had gotten authorization to put within the racetrack facilities what one would deem as casino or games, video lottery terminals. The court apparently, VIGL had enjoined the case that the government had against them, and I believe the court had ultimately or eventually ruled that those terminals that they were going to put on the racetracks had fall within the description established under the Southland Gaming Authorization. So VIGL were not going to be permitted to have any video lottery terminals on the racetrack, the St. Thomas racetrack. Because remember that Southland Gaming Authorization is only to operate in the St. Thomas St. John district. Does that clear anything up for you?
Well, yeah, to an extent, yeah. What I'm getting at is, okay, everything should be under this gaming agency. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think we get in our fair take on what's the Southland supposed to be given to the government. I think if we need to be more serious about the gaming industry, and they shouldn't be allowed under the lottery. I don't think the lottery have that kind of the expertise to deal with that. So I think we need to revisit this thing and set the thing in the right place, how it's supposed to be, because we're losing out, I think. You know, it's not being regulated properly. And we need to revisit these things and be fair to the community. So that's my take. That's why.
Well, you definitely, listen, you definitely have a point. And always remember that while the lottery office may not have the expertise to actually audit the records to determine whether or not the government is getting their fair share and whether or not the establishments are being fairly billed for, you know, those VLT machines. They still reserve the right to contract a forensic auditor to come in and conduct an audit, a full-blown audit, to determine whether or not the government and these vendors, these establishments, are getting a fair shake. That makes sense?
Makes some sense. Make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Very much. Okay then, man.
Okay.
You have a good day and thanks for the time.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Okay, sir.
Okay, bye. Yes, and that's along the lines of revenues for the government. Good morning, you're on the air, connect the dots.
Yes, good morning, former Senator. How are you today?
I'm
Happy New
fine,
Year.
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm calling you in reference to Envision Tomorrow. My mom had an application filled out with them. She signed a contract. She was approved, everything to get her home repaired. And they told her it was going to be around January, February of last year. And none of that was done. And she was always saying it looked like she's not going to get her house roof fixed before she died, because it's taking so long to repair it. Anyway, my mom died in May of this year.
Oh, no.
Didn't get her roof fixed.
Wow.
And they are telling me now that because she's deceased, she's no longer eligible to get the home fixed. You know, and my thing is that this contract was already signed off and everything was approved, and I feel like they should have gone ahead with it. But they said it was for low class and low income personnel, so that's why they're not going to fix it again. But bottom line is the roof still needs to get fixed, and now we have to go through all our trials and tribulations now to try to get this home fixed.
Huh.
I could see if the contract wasn't signed or she wasn't approved, but the bottom line, the contract was signed and approved. That's the problem that I have.
Yeah.
She's been waiting from 2017, 2018. Look where we are now. She just died here. You know, but it is what it is. And, you know, I spoke to them. They told me, well, regardless of what federal guidelines said, this is what it is. And that is, so I just, you know, I'm just sitting waiting.
Well,
I don't know for what, but, you know.
you
So
know,
that was my complaint and my frustration.
yeah. Yeah, and it's a valid one. Um, I understand that there's policies and procedures in place, right? But sometimes you wonder if a contract was executed for that home. Let's say that she was able to live to see her house repaired. The house would have been repaired up back to a
Correct.
standard that was acceptable, a standard that would allow her to live comfortably. I'm not understanding why now they would indicate that it's null and void after the contract was signed to repair the house.
That's the problem that I have.
I'm
That's the
sure
problem
that
that I have.
I'm sure that can you are you willing to give a name and number for for me to check into that? You could call.
Yes.
If you want, you could call back off the air and just call them
Okay.
and give them your name and number. Because something
Okay, fine. Okay.
something doesn't seem right about that. And if we're talking about this is federal monies that came in here. And it was intended for the purpose of repairing the homes for people who have been displaced. Because that's a displacement. Once your home has been
Because she was. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. It's your time.
Well, she was still living in her home, but it was leaking, and she was 89 years old.
Oh wow.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll leave my name and number. You know.
Okay,
after the
yeah,
program, all that.
just call back in and they'll answer the phone and just give your name and number. And we'll see if we could
All
call
right, thank
someone
you.
over there and find out. Okay?
Okay, you have a
Okay.
blessed day. Thank you.
You have a blessed day as well. Wow, that's and that's exactly what I'm talking about. And, not to mention that may have placed an additional burden on that homeowner, an additional level of frustration, and that's exactly what I've been talking about. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Yes, good morning, Senator Dennis Fox. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Good morning. I am calling, I think if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago I had heard that there were federal funds sent into the territory under the MAP administration for the building of an assistant living facility. And, okay, they did not make it for a second term, but based on my understanding of government, those funds should still be there somewhere. And if they are still there, what has ever happened to that assisted living facility? Have you heard anything about that?
No, not to the best of my knowledge. I mean, I can inquire about it, but I haven't heard nothing about that as well. I know that behind the hospital, I believe is the Celestino White senior citizen facility or something like that. That is not assisted living. I think that's independent living.
That was before that was before the MAP administration.
Yes, correct.
Okay, exactly. So I'm talking about the funding that had been sent in during the MAP administration to build another assisted living facility, because I am a senior citizen myself.
Yeah.
And I do not want to be a burden to my children, and I would want to look forward to some place where I can go to live and feel safe. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to move off of my island to go anywhere else to live. This is home.
Yeah.
But I really don't see where they are taking care of the senior citizens at all. And then you talked about education with that program for the fourth and fifth graders to learn about financing. That's another issue. I remember years ago when you had authored a book and donated it to the Department of Education for the purpose of them implementing that within the curriculum. I don't think I ever heard of anything happening with that either.
Well,
and then also,
you're absolutely correct. those books were donated to cover every single 4th and 5th grade teacher to be able to administer the program.
I recall that.
Yeah.
But they didn't implement it?
I don't think so at all, but I know that there was a private school that had embraced it and had started to, administer such a program because they saw the value.
Okay, now
in it.
so you watch the product of. Okay, so now we're going to see the product of that private school capitalizing from that information and gaining themselves, becoming entrepreneurs and learning about the stock market and all that stuff. Why are they treating the minorities the way they treat them in our territory? I don't understand it. Our youth are supposed to be our future. Yet we're not giving them the tools that they need, and that was a powerful tool that you placed in the hands of the government free of charge. I don't understand the negligence in that. And then also about the program that they used to have, the maintenance program through the high school, where they taught mechanic and plumbing and electricity and body shop and all that stuff. It's been years, decades that I keep hearing you talk about this. Why don't they re-implement that in the schools, reinstate it in the schools? Yeah, we have a whole bunch of young people now that are out here that have no skills whatsoever, unemployable, because employers are looking for people that have skills that can do something. These young people, a lot of them don't want to work for anyone. So, okay, that's all well and good, and I agree with that. But then train them so they can become entrepreneurs, so they can work for themselves. I don't understand what our administrations are doing in this territory. I don't understand. Administration after administration after administration. They come out and they politically promise you so many things that they do not follow through on. And yet, because of the corruption, they keep placing people in there that the people have not voted in. And there's nothing we can do about it. Anyway, Senator Dennis, so those are my feelings. I'll hang up and let you share your thoughts on what I just shared, what my burdens are.
Okay, thanks for calling. Really appreciate it.
Okay, God bless you.
God bless you
too. You have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, people have their observations. I'll go to one more telephone call before I close off. It's 10:58 a.m. here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Good morning. You're on the air. Connect the dots.
Yeah, good morning. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning. Fine. Back on education, yeah. One school I forget to mention that need urgent attention is Charlotte High School. That's a lot of us graduate from that school.
Yeah.
And that also need to be targeted. And so my whole advocacy, all those community type based school need to be rebuilt. Charlotte High School, Adelita Cancrine, like I always advocated, which I worked there for several years. Abraham School down there by Corinth Terrace, a community-based school. EBU, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And any other community-based that was serving people. As a teacher, I remember one of the reform we are trying to do is to have smaller classes, hire more qualified teachers, paraprofessional support staff, because education is a very important area in building your civilization. They need to emphasize that as an important priority. And we also is an advocate of curriculum change too. I was one time chair of the industrial art department of Adita Cancrine. And then by the time I left, they were either said they are de-industrializing industrial art, was closing down the vocab area of that vocab program,
Yeah.
Auto carpentry and so for electricity. But we need to change our curriculum so that it provides the necessary vocational technical educational skill to empower our youngsters. And I agree with you with financial management, but also this should also have business management too, so that we're about being employed. So we got mirror, we got mirror curriculum based on the economic activity we have here in the Virgin Islands, agriculture, marine industry, tourism, whatever. Yeah. Even manufacturing, do some form of manufacturing, but we have to empower our youth. And most important too, we have to teach them about knowledge of self, BI, African history, and so forth. so that they can know themselves. You don't know yourself, how you know others, or you know your loyalty to this place and so forth. But those are parts that I know we're close to the end, but those are some of my thoughts and that in terms of education. And we are the people, to me, we are the people, the parents and the community, we need to demand to these policymakers, whether elected or appointed, what we want is we the one that to make, that I know this is what we want for you to teach our children, so that we go make these islands a Borgia island home for all, paradise for all, you know. Yeah. But we got to demand, or else we still be in the same rut with these policymakers just looking out for themselves. Train the children is the high priority, but yet year after year we don't see no program in there to empower them and enlighten them as youngsters. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for calling. And points well taken.
All right, no problem.
Okay. All right. Yeah, everyone have their group of concerns, and I think the gentleman, the previous caller spoke about education maintenance program, and I must say that I'm a benefactor of that program, a product of that program, where we were able to go into the schools, and it was not about just building schools or restoring or rehabilitating schools, but it was about being able to maintain the schools and at the same token afford young people the opportunity of learning various different trades. I learned electrical work, that I could replace a ballast. I could put up a light inside of a room and I can wire it. I learned about plumbing. I learned about fixing the stove and the maintenance of stoves and air condition units in the schools. I also learned how to paint, how to cut and paint on a roof, and those are trades. Those are valuable trades. I was just speaking with a contractor I think it was on Friday, where he was saying that he just gave out a contract to paint a building for over $60,000 just to paint that one building. These are valuable skills, and they're going to be needed now more than ever. And we can only hope that as we rebuild school, that programs like that, we could start to put in place $2 million to be able to employ these young people during the summer. And I'm not just talking about male, but females as well, that would be interested in learning those trades. But they need to come back, because you're accomplishing two things that are tangible. Train our young people, provide them with skills, even if it's the initial part of the training, but provide them with an opportunity to also earn an income that they could open their own bank accounts and spend the money in the wisest possible ways. But we are teaching them to be responsible from young, but also to maintain our schools and keep them maintained year round. Because how many schools have you heard where the teachers actually have to go and buy fans for the classroom when there's an air conditioning unit that stayed unrepaired, not repaired for years, and they have to put fans in the classroom? Had we been maintaining it, we would know that we would establish that everything would be operating at an optimum level. Well, let me get off my soapbox this morning. I'm out of time. It's 11:04 a.m. here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I wanted to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this morning, and to wish each and every one of you, because I know it's a new year, and someone asked the question, when do you stop saying Happy New Year to people? I believe traditionally you tell people Happy New Year until the end of January, because it is into a new year. But when does the new year get old? No, but it's Happy New Year until the end of January. That has been common practice. I just want to wish each and every one of you the best for the new year, and to stay positive. You'll have certain people looming in your life, in your immediate environment, that they could only spew negative things out of their mouth. You got to be careful with that and try to navigate a different direction, because at the end of the day, you can't teach people to be positive. You can't teach people to not utter negative things out their mouth at every turn. So what do? You pivot. Yes, you pivot. Remain positive, because I'm telling you, negativity has an adverse impact on your health. A lot of people don't realize this, but it is a fact. So I want to wish each and every one of you health and prosperity for the remainder of the year. So I'll see you next Monday, same time, same place, and you'll hear me at the same time, same place, here on WSTA Connect the Dots, 10 to 11 a.m. every Monday morning. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and make sure that it's productive. Be safe. God bless each and every one of you.
It's Catch of the Day. From the water to the pot to your mouth, everything is fresh at Catch of the Day, located on Cookie Point Beach. Enjoy some of your favorite seafood dishes, fresh catch, lobster, hank, and whelks when in season, as well as surf and turf. They cater to your wishes. While you sit and wait for your food, enjoy the friendly bar and bask in the ambience that is second to none. Enjoy the white sand, sun, and crystal blue water. We are sure the experience will be unique. Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and enjoy Catch of the Day on Cookie Point Beach.
It's First Up 24-hour gas and grocery store. Your #1 convenience store, located across from Vitraco Park. You name it, and they have it. From electronic accessories to your favorite drinks. And from gas to groceries. You name it, and they have it. First Stop 24-hour gas and grocery, located across from Vitraco Park. Check it out, your favorite store for gas and grocery.